Hello everybody, welcome to Classy and Sassy, celebrating women one conversation at a time, and I am so excited. Today we have Ann Childers with Childers Travel. Stay tuned, we're going to have a great show.
Welcome to Classy and Sassy with your host Yvette Beamer. Yvette is dedicated to her faith, family, friends, and women from all generations while giving back to the community in various ways. I am blessed to have you in my audience and hope you enjoy the show.
Ann, it is so good to have you here today. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for inviting me, Yvette. I am so excited about everything that's going on in the travel world.
So there's stuff actually going on in the travel world.
Finally, finally, as you are aware, as everyone is aware, 2 years of COVID has really hurt our travel and our tourist industry. Things are coming back, and they're coming back robustly.
That's because, people are tired of being pent up. They're ready to get out and go travel the world and enjoy family and friends and just have a good time. So tell us a little bit about where we're at with it right now. What's going on specifically?
Well, there are still some restrictions depending on where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But the most wonderful news is mask mandates are pretty much a thing of the past. As
Really?
Just this month, you've noticed that airplanes are no longer requiring them,
Okay.
which is excellent. There are some situations on cruise ships where they may well ask you to mask up. That's a little bit more confined area. So if there's an outbreak, if there's an uptick, the industry is so on top of it to protect their cruisers, and so they may be asked to wear a mask. Also, depending on where you're going.
Yeah. So talk about that. Like, where is the hot spot right now? Where is everybody wanting to get to?
You know what? There again, this depends a little bit on your personal views.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much back to Europe. I'm finding a lot of cruises, though, to the Bahamas, to the Caribbean.
Some place where they feel a little bit more safer. Europe is a little hot spot right now with some things going on in our world.
It is. You can fly in with or without being vaccinated, but you may not be able to visit all the places that you have on your checklist.
Gotcha.
Without being vaccinated.
So it's limited. So if you want to go to Europe, you probably should be vaccinated to be able to enjoy all the offerings that they have and all the historical sites. So that's some great information to have for
fully
travel.
Vaccinated at this time for any travel in Europe. Otherwise, it's almost on a case-by-case basis. I recommend you work with a travel agent. Most of us don't charge fees or very small fees.
Yes.
And we have at our fingertips the information that's current and up to the minute. Florida has been open almost from the beginning.
You know Florida.
Yeah.
We're awesome. Wink, wink. We're great.
We have a Club Med that is all inclusive.
Wait a second. You have a Club Med. Do they get naked there?
No.
Okay,
it is a clothed.
It's clothing.
Yet not a clothed optional.
Okay.
And it's right here.
That's a good thing, ladies. Some of us don't need to be bearing off.
No,
You get what I'm saying?
I keep the clothes industry in
You have to
business.
keep them on. Keep it covered. Keep it modest.
But
Less is more.
Club Med is in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
So it's only a couple of hours drive from here, and it is an all-inclusive resort. It's not the Caribbean.
Yeah.
There is a beach. The beach is on the St. Johns River.
Okay.
I'm told entertainment, drinks, and food are excellent.
Okay.
And it is family friendly.
Okay.
Or you can go as a couple.
Do a little honeymooning, do a little date weekend, get away.
I recently sent a couple there from North Carolina.
Oh, really? That's
They
awesome.
weren't fully vaccinated and therefore could not take a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to celebrate an anniversary and they wanted an all-inclusive. So we're lucky here in Florida that that's available.
We are. Plus, we have beautiful beaches here anyway.
Totally.
On each side of our Florida borders, if they say
our coastline.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Travel Agent, for telling me that.
Something that I have started doing that
Mhm.
I'm really excited about is bus tours here in Florida. And I've got one coming up, St. Augustine, Amelia Island, and Jacksonville.
I love how she just has this ready to
Just
go.
happened to
people.
have this.
She just happened to have it. It's in a magazine and it does say Amelia Island. That sounds so beautiful anyway, Amelia.
Oh, it's so much is included in
Yeah.
this. This is a $450 trip.
Mm-hmm.
This includes your bus trip,
Oh, okay.
3 breakfasts, 3 dinners, cruise on the St. Johns River, tour of St. Augustine Winery, just tons of things.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds a little mysterious too, I'm not gonna lie. That Amelia Island thing sounds a little mysterious, and if you get there, there might be some murder she wrote type situations you can look up and go to.
There's just no telling.
There's no telling. There's a lot to do in Jacksonville, in that area. So if somebody should want to do this, and y'all stay tuned because we're going to get involved in a very awesome conversation, but I want to be able to, if you guys want to enjoy travel and do it right here in Florida, in this great state, how do they reach you, Ann?
Childers Travel. My email is childerstravel@gmail.com.
And that's Childers, Childers, right?
That is correct.
And then you spell travel the way you would always spell it. Travel.
and they can call me on my landline.
Well, what's that landline phone number?
813-948-7484.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no fees for my services, and I will work with you. I can do way more than bus trips. If someone out there does want to go to Europe, I'm sending my eye doctor to the Galapagos right now.
What is the Galapagos?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful island tours. It will be on the Celebrity Cruise Line.
Okay.
Just absolutely fabulous. Lots of nature.
Well, learn how to say the Galapagos, because you shouldn't be going if you can't say it.
It is a mouthful.
But you have been traveling this great state, and I have on authority that you have the awesome opportunity. And listen, ladies, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's always a good thing to be able to go visit your capital. Absolutely. In Florida. So tell me, you went to Tallahassee. What was that like? What were you doing there, Miss?
I got invited to fill in for president of an organization that I went that could not go, and went up when the legislature was in session.
Oh, wow.
I've lived in Florida since the 80s, but this was the first time I had really been able to do that. It's pretty amazing to see the legislature. We watched from the balcony on the floor, voting on the laws that affect each and every one of us, and making the decisions. When I was there, early in March,
there was a lot happening in early in March.
A lot happening.
There was some stuff bubbling.
The big issue at that time was a bill that there is a tremendous amount of controversy on. Technically, this is the Parental Rights in Education bill.
Yes.
But many people took offense. There was some picketing.
Oh. You got to see some sassiness over there at
we really did.
At the Capitol.
I don't want to repeat what those that oppose this bill are calling it, because it is inaccurate. This is about education for children K to 3rd grade and age appropriate education. I have to believe, and tell me if you think I'm on the right track. I do believe sometimes we look at a headline, even everybody looks at a headline, and they grab or gravitate to that headline based on what side of the aisle you're on or which way you're leaning. And
then that's it. That's what it means. That's what it's all about. And you've taken a side without even getting educated on it. Would you agree?
I would totally agree. And because before I got into travel, I spent the bulk of my professional life in media, advertising, marketing, and public relations.
Oh my gosh, I'm just tired listening to all the on your list of stuff that you've done.
When I worked with newspapers, it was if it bleeds, it leads. And the headlines, I have seen reporters put their head on their desk and cry because an editor changed a headline to reflect something that they wanted out there that was not really reflected in the story.
Gotcha.
Please get yourself informed. Don't just read headlines. Don't accept just what you see.
Yeah.
And again, as you mentioned, Yvette, regardless of which side of the aisle you may be on, get the full picture. The yays and the nays, and why they are saying yay and why they are saying nay.
Well, my understanding of the bill is, they want to teach certain things, or the teacher be allowed to talk with the kindergartner about their sexual orientation. Is that close, or?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very close. Those that are opposing it feel that nothing can be said, which is not true.
Yeah.
It's on the educational end of it that if a child has a question pertaining to sexuality, then the teacher just needs to refer them to their parents.
Yeah.
At that very tender age, my brother and I had this discussion, and he said, you know what, sis? In first grade, all I really cared about was, did it rain or were we going to get recess?
Girl, you know what I cared about at that time was I gonna get the little treat, the little it was like a garlic bread or like a Melba toast.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if I was gonna get that break or that treat at that. We
At
weren't
that
thinking
time,
of those kinds of
no.
things in kindergarten at that
No.
age.
And one day you want to be Batman, the next day you want to be a mermaid.
Yeah.
This is children need to be learning the basics of education.
Yes.
Sexual education can come much later.
Yeah.
Our kids grow up very fast.
They do. I even remember when I got that letter in the mail with my two kids from school saying, hey, and I think it was about 5th grade, 6th grade, that we're going to be talking about their body, sexual, sex basically, let's put it out there. And I had said to my husband at that time, listen, if they're going to be talking about it, we need to talk to our children first, because you want to be able to teach them and explain to them how you want them to hear about sex and protection and abstinence and faith and what God says about it, and those kinds of things. And there's nothing wrong with you going in our house. We learned, or I let my kids know, that we can talk about anything. And we do. It can come up anytime, and there's really nothing taboo in our house.
Mine either.
Yeah.
I have a girl and a boy. They're 15 years apart, and both of them have talked openly with me. But that is, you explain your own values. Kids tend to find their own way. They don't always agree with us as parents, but you need the open dialogue.
Yes.
And I would encourage everyone, whether it's travel or it's politics or it's medical, be sure that you're fully informed.
Yeah. The thing about it is, everybody says be fully informed. I mean, and if you're not getting your news, or if you are, maybe you are getting your news from just the mainstream media, which we know does have a slant regardless of what you think. They do. We're adults here and we can talk about that. They do have a slant. And obviously if you're Fox News, CNN, whatever, that's your business, watch whatever you want to watch. I just say that, where do you find this information out? Because they're surely not going to tell you, that's for sure. So where do you go, like, to learn about the bill? Let's say you block everybody else out and say, listen, I want to know for myself, what does that say?
Go to our Florida government website and look it up and read it.
Yeah.
And read each and every one of them. there is nothing in that bill anywhere that says don't say.
Yeah.
It's not listed there.
Yeah.
It's not there. That is not the intent. And I find that this is with so many things. Don't watch just one source. Watch 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Check out some podcasts. They're depending on where you are spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah.
You can find podcasts that you may or may not agree with. But I think that's the important point. Hear things you don't agree with.
Yes, we have to be, I'm going to say this, like, not open-minded, obviously, to change your ideology or change how you feel or how you were raised. Like, I'm a Christian, so I definitely am a conservative. I'm not a Lulu conservative. But there are some conservative things about me because I love Jesus and what God's word says.
Yes.
But I'm not going to not get educated about certain things so that when you do, and let's face it, to be honest with you, Facebook helps businesses and it has its place. But in my humble opinion, it is the devil's playground sometimes because it does cause division, because there's no way you can have an intelligent conversation about these things, especially if you have a difference of opinion.
Yes.
And do it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Of course it's going to cause division. You can't get your whole thought process out. Nobody's listening to anybody. Then you start name calling, and that's not what this show is about.
No.
I love it because even if maybe we don't agree about something, which I'm sure there are things we don't agree with.
Possibly.
You know,
yes.
I'm sure that I don't want to go to the Bogaloco Locust, or what's that place again? What's that place? Boga, the place that you sent your doctor to.
The Galapagos.
The Galapagos. I don't want to go to Galapagos, but she wants you to go to Galapagos because she's a travel agent. I have no desire to go to the Galapagos. Nothing wrong with it, but my point is, we don't agree on that. At least she didn't know that at the time, but I'm telling her now.
It's okay. I can find someplace else.
Yes, find someplace else. But my point is that you can have a difference of opinion and still love one another. Do you agree with that?
Totally and completely. For me, my most favorite place to travel is Europe.
Yeah.
And Europe is not a comfort zone for me right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going.
Yeah.
And I will send someone if they want to go with a lot of caveats
Yeah.
and a lot of research.
Yeah. I just think there's a lot of people who we need to get back on track. We need to become kinder to one another again. Start listening. Just because you listen to somebody's difference of opinion doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
No.
There's a lot of things, to be honest with you, that I don't agree with. But I don't mind. I ask questions. I don't mind talking about it. And I respect you, you respect me, we respect one another, and I think that's missing at this point. And I just kind of encourage you women, we're awesome, we're great, we're wonderfully made in the image of God, right?
Right, as we approach Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And this, one of the things that I wanted to mention too was pay attention to the headlines, but and this is kind of a reverse psychology.
Yeah.
When everything you're seeing is focused on one subject,
Yeah.
look over your shoulder and see what may be missing. What is not being reported
Yeah.
on? What are all of a sudden you not hearing or
Mhm.
haven't heard any more about? Because there may be a smoke screen that your attention may be being totally diverted.
Yeah.
Because something else is going on that you really need to know about.
No, there's a lot of things happening. Obviously, you have Ukraine, which those people, I'm telling you, prayers to Ukraine. If you
Yes.
have family in Ukraine, just know that you have so many people praying for the people of Ukraine, praying for the government. Well, I can honestly say, and I'll say it out loud, I don't necessarily agree with President Biden or that administration, but our Bible tells us to pray for those in authority over us, and that's exactly what I'm doing. We can say whatever we want to say about what's going on, but ultimately, God is in control of this whole thing, and we only need to trust Him. So,
Totally.
yeah, while times are shaking and you feel like, yes, things are going up, God is our provider. While things are happening in our body, we may be sick, He's our healer. Those
have
types
to
of
be,
things. Yeah.
if you have that spirituality,
Yeah.
this is where you put your faith. There is one podcast that I listen to, Dr. Lance Wallnow, who happens to be Polish. who happens to be Jewish
Oh,
and happens to be a follower of Christ.
yes.
But I learned so much from his podcast, which is a mixed bag of political, religion,
Yeah.
what's going on in
Yeah.
the world. I learned yesterday, which I had no idea, that
Mhm.
Vladimir Putin is going into the hospital for cancer surgery.
Is he now, Mr. Putin?
And his second in command,
Mm-hmm.
they say, makes him look like a choir boy.
Yeah, there's more coming that
So,
way. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen that in the news. Did
No,
I
you don't
miss a
see it?
headline?
No, they aren't
I
talking
didn't
about it
see
right
that.
now.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of concern that this second in command might push harder.
Yeah.
And so, as strange as this may seem, maybe we need to pray for Putin as well.
Yeah, well, that he's like the lesser of the two evils. Well, to be honest with you, God has that in control. I know it doesn't look like that right now, but there are so many miracles that we hear about. You're not hearing it on the news, and I get it, but we're hearing it from family members that, there are angels protecting people, and people are still worshiping the great God, our great God. And I just want to say, if you're you had mentioned something, if you follow the faith, and I think that's so important. There's a lot of people out there who have no hope. They feel like they're at the very bottom of the list. Nobody's caring or thinking about them, and that's so not true. I say call upon God. He is your Savior. He can help you. And in these times that we're living in, I don't look to the government for my provision. Do
No.
you? Do you?
I have lost faith in all our alphabet bureaucracies.
Yeah.
Pick an alphabet,
Yeah.
and I have lost
Well,
faith.
at the end of the day, and they're just men and women, and they're not perfect.
No.
And God is going to come back. I believe in the rapture, and God is going to come back and set some things straight. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go in the first load. I'm ready.
That's my plan as
Yeah.
well. But when you have faith in our Lord and Savior, it does give you a peace with everything that's going on. What's going on in Ukraine? What's going on in COVID? With things that are coming and going and very fluid.
Yes.
There's the report that a new variant is on the uptick.
Yeah.
And I, because of my faith, I'm not fearful.
Yeah. No fear.
I have a comfort level.
I
and
think
have
we
a
need to be
peace.
wise, though. God does give us a spirit of wisdom. We need to be wise when things like that come around. But yes, well, let's just face it. The Bible says in the last days there are going to be the wars,
Right.
rumors of wars, pestilence, and and there's some people say, well, that's always been here. But we're talking about frequency and intensity, more and more and more. And so I just say, be lovers of Christ, be kind. And let's be in the highways and byways and compelling people to come into the knowledge of Christ, the saving
Absolutely.
grace of the Lord.
To get this can do so much with fear, and I get up every day. I'm excited about what is going on, but I try to be aware of these other things as well. But they don't rule my life.
Yeah.
And, I just want to encourage people. Get knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Learn what you can learn and share that, and try to have conversations. I have people in my circle, in my family, that I can't have a conversation with.
Because they get so upset and they don't want to have dinner with you anymore. And they don't want to be your friends anymore.
And this saddens me. I
Yeah.
want to say, why do you believe what you believe? Please tell me.
Yeah.
So that I can see your
Or understand your
viewpoint.
viewpoint.
And let me tell you why I may or may not agree with you on that.
I think that in society, and if you go with me on this, if we were all thinking the same and being the same type of thinkers, do you think any of the advancements that we've had in our country, or advancements in medicine, advancements in technology, advancements in medical, in everything, if there was one side to everything, that there would be any of those advancements? You can't possibly believe that, if everybody thinks the same way, does the same thing, and thinks the same way, that you can advance as a society. Just robots, do.
There are two sides to every coin,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a teacher tell me years ago, keep an open mind,
Mm-hmm.
but not so open that your brain falls out.
Honey, my brain fell out a long time ago.
So be open to learning, be open to seeing some
Yeah.
good somewhere where you might not initially.
Yeah.
Another issue that is so hot right now, of course, is before the Supreme Court.
Oh my goodness, they've got it all fenced up. I saw it today, and it's all, this is the thing, and no matter if you believe in abortion, you don't, whatever, God has created each and every one of us, and He is the giver of life. And obviously, I think if you are a Christian, I'm a Christian, I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't understand, like for me, I don't agree with abortion. I know that God has created each one of us, and I feel, and don't turn off if you're listening and don't agree, just listen to what I have to say. I do think that there is a plan in place for everybody that's created in the womb and then when we're born. And I feel like sometimes if that person is pregnant or they got pregnant, regardless of the circumstances, regardless if you can afford it, regardless if you're raped, regardless of if you were molested, and those are terrible things. I was molested. It didn't come in a pregnancy, but I know that there's hurt that way. And but if there becomes a baby at some level, I hope you could take a little time and just think about, if this baby's here, there's a reason that you are pregnant with this child. And so I
have some, because in addition to working for the media, I also worked for Tampa General, and I worked in a pregnancy clinic, high risk and low risk, and I witnessed some very sad things.
Yeah.
When and you can therapeutic abortion, when it was absolutely and totally necessary, sadly, not even necessarily wanted, but that it was.
But because of for the life of the mother.
And and so I am for keeping things legal and between doctors and their patients, because I do believe that if it's illegal, just like prohibition was illegal and there was still bathtub gin,
people still did it.
I believe that some very evil people will come out of the woodwork and
take advantage
and that more women will actually be hurt. But there was a saying for years that was legal and infrequent.
I guess that's what, obviously for me personally, and I think that's where a lot of people, I saw a bunch of Facebook posts saying, well, because you're a Christian, you're judging, and that's not the case. It's just we have a voice too, and it's not that, we just believe a certain way. And some of us as Christians, I was pregnant at 17, I was not married, and I have to be honest with you, that's kind of the first thing, because it was ready, available, that you think of. It isn't, but the more and more that I got to thinking about it and praying about it, there was no way I was going to do that. And I figured, I have my family. Some people don't have family, but there are organizations out there. I think adoption, there needs to be rules and laws change with adoption to where people who can afford children and would be good parents, they don't have to spend so much money adopting a child and making it easier.
It needs to be much easier.
A little easier. It's so expensive.
I too had an unplanned pregnancy, and I was married, and I was 35.
Wow.
And my other child was already 14, and I really didn't want to go down the motherhood path again. And so I had to face some options. My son is now 37.
Oh, praise the Lord.
So obviously, I came to my own decision. I appreciated the fact that I could. What I want people to realize with this is not taking away any rights. This is going back to the states where perhaps it should have always been. Even Ruth Gator Ginsburg felt that perhaps there had been some overstep in making this a constitutional right. So the right to abortion will go back to states.
Yeah.
There are some things in the Florida Constitution, look that up, that for those of you that may be worried that it will totally go away, look into the Florida Constitution, see what you can find there that will protect those that want those rights protected. So in this beautiful country that we have,
Yeah.
if you approach, you have choices. Approach your state legislature. If this is something that you want to see in your state, find out which way your state is leaning.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the way they're leaning and you don't want to get involved,
Right.
you still have the option to move to a state that might more match up your views.
There you go.
More.
I just think too, in the grand scheme of things, that regardless of your choice of abortion or not, regardless of what happens, there are women out there who are Christians who love the Lord, who also love you. And there have been, I'm always in a church setting, there are women that come in years later and are still broken because they made that choice and they didn't know certain things. So I would say, and I'm speaking to the woman out there, hopefully, God sends this to you and you need it. Maybe this episode is just for you and God made a kingdom connection for you if you're pregnant. There's places that you can go, Oasis Pregnancy Center. They have the best, we support that. You have the best, at least go in. They don't badger you. They just show you the baby and explain it to you and get education. And then there are other choices that you can make. I never will, and I will be bold to say, I do not believe you should use abortion for a form of birth control.
Absolutely.
And I hope women are not doing that. I understand that there are circumstances, but I would say reach out to Jesus during that dark time and pray and ask him what you should do. Invite him into your heart if you haven't. And as I say, you could, obviously we disagree a little bit on that.
A little, yeah.
A little, but we still love each other. And
because of the things that I saw both in working with the clinic, and I saw times where either the mother or the child was not going to survive. This was a high-risk pregnancy clinic. There were tough decisions.
Yeah.
I saw sonogram technicians sit down and cry because of what they had seen.
Yeah.
We also had a case, very close family member that was raped at the age of 16.
Oh my goodness.
And knew within 4 weeks, and this is why I have a little bit of difficulty. This was a 16-year-old that had never conceived. Yeah. Knew within 4 weeks she was pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
And then came forward and revealed, and the police were brought in, and
those are situations.
They were.
Those are situations.
The family was made the decision not to keep that child, and we were very grateful that it could safely and legally be accomplished. The 16-year-old was distraught to the point of taking her own life.
Yeah. And those are the things that you have to leave up to, like I said, even though I know that there's many in the church that definitely stand on the fact that for us personally, we don't believe in abortion, but things happen in people's lives. And I would just, we're gonna round it out and just say, get educated.
Get educated and find out what options you have. Don't think that there's just one way in anything.
And
in politics, religion, abortion.
And don't dislike somebody because they have a difference of opinion or hate somebody or call them a name. I think we're adults here and our kids are looking at us and they're looking at us for an example, and we have to lead by example. So I would leave you for today with for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And God is a God of life, a God of love. He is definitely a God of justice, and definitely, at the end of the day, we all will be judged for what we do or not do. So, Ann, with Children's Travel, thank you for being a part of Classy and Sassy.
Thank you. I hope we were classy and maybe a little sassy.
I think we
enough.
were a little sassy. Do you guys think that? Thank you for being with us today. We love you. The Lord loves you. Thank you for being a part of Classy and Sassy Show, where we celebrate women one conversation at a time, no matter our differences. Right,
No,
Ann?
absolutely.
Blessings. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.